Hi everyone, today I will be presenting my topic, which is obesity, lifestyle, or genetic factors. So, what is obesity? Obesity is usually resulting from energy imbalance that occurs when a person consumes more calories than their body burns. To determine whether a person is overweight or obese, most healthcare practitioners use the body mass index to do so. The BMI for obese is more than 30 kg per meter square. In Malaysia, 1 in 2 adults are overweight or obese. In terms of gender, ethnicity, and age group, female, Indian ethnicity, and age group of 55 to 59 have the highest prevalence. Major diseases associated with obesity will be diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease. Malaysia, sadly, is known as the fattest nation in Asia and has the second highest child obesity rate among children in ASEAN. It was found that consumption of sugary drinks significantly affect a child's BMI, where a child's BMI would go up when they consume sugary drinks and vice versa. Thus, one of the initiatives from the Malaysian government will be the implementation of sugar tax of 40 cents per litre in hope to curb the obesity problem. In terms of genetic, obesity can be divided into 3 subgroups. The first one would be monogenic obesity, where it is rare and severe early onset obesity with abnormal feeding behavior and endocrine disorders. Next, it would be syndromic obesity. In this kind of obesity, clinically obese subjects, additionally distinguished by mental retardations, dysmorphic features, and organ-specific developmental abnormalities. Lastly, common obesity, which affects the general population. As mentioned in the previous slide, monogenic obesity is a rare form of obesity. To date, about 20 single gene defects that results in autosomal form of obesity, and all these mutations position at the leptin melanocortin pathway, which is critical in the regulation of our body homeostasis. In this form of obesity, lack of leptin in an individual can be found, and it usually produces extreme hyperphagia, which is an abnormally great desire for food and excessive eating. For this form of obesity, subcutaneous injection of leptin in children and adults with gene of leptic mutations resulted in weight loss, mainly of fat mass, with a major effect of reducing food intake. Syndromic obesity is also a rare form of obesity. One of the most well-known forms of syndromic obesity is Prader-Willi syndrome, which is caused by a chromosomal abnormality. PWS is characterized by early onset obesity resulting from hyperphagia caused by central nervous system dysfunction. There are no specific treatment for this form of obesity except for its general management such as diet and physical activity and so on. In an epidemiologic studies of common obesity, it was found that concordance for obesity decreases in parallel with degree of relatedness. In another adoptee studies, the BMI of the adopted individual is correlated closest with the biological parent's BMI, further highlighting the role of genetic factors. However, each susceptibility gene in common obesity considered individually would only have a slight effect on weight. The cumulative contribution of these genes would be amplified by an obesogenic lifestyle. The most common GWAS links to obesity were in the FTO gene. FTO has a potential role in nucleic acid demethylation and is highly expressed in parts of the brain that govern energy balance. It was found that obesity effect caused by FTO gene can be attenuated by physical exercise and possibly by dietary interventions. Current known genetic carriers of FTO gene are reported to lose more weight through diet and lifestyle interventions than non-carriers, which may encourage lifestyle efforts in those who are obese or have a family history of obesity. GWAS have explained only less than 5% of heritability of obesity. From the findings, lifestyle factors seem to have a better impact than genetic factors, as changing the way an individual carries with their daily lives can have a positive impact on the type of obesity caused by genetic mutation mentioned above, except for monogenic obesity. Recommendations on reducing risk of genetic obesity are mainly lifestyle factors, such as eating a healthy diet, be physically active, don't drink alcohol, stop smoking, and manage stress well. In terms of diet, overweight and obesity status was significantly associated with less frequent consumption of breakfast and sugar-sweetened drinks. Increasing fruit and vegetable consumption was found to contribute to reduced adiposity among overweight or obese adults. Why we should exclude habit of drinking alcohol in our diet? It is due to the energy from alcohol that appears to be addictive to energy from other sources, little effect of satiety of alcohol, and alcohol will stimulate food intake. The recommendations for the prevention and management of childhood obesity emphasizes lifestyle modifications, including daily moderate to vigorous physical activity. Another finding shows that overweight or obesity was associated with lower levels of physical activity. Insufficient vigorous physical activity was also shown to have a risk factor for higher BMI in adolescent boys and girls in United States. Thus, the above study highlights the important role of physical activity in preventing obesity. The risk of obesity was found to increase with the amount smoked, and former heavy smokers were more likely to be obese than former light smokers. It is because smoking was positively associated with physical inactivity. Under stress, people tend to display a behavioral shift to a more westernized dietary pattern, like emotional overeating, overconsumption of high-fat, salt, sugar foods, and less intake of fruits and vegetables. In particular, the more stressed one has, the greater amount of cortisol is produced in the body, leading to accumulation of fat in abdominal area, namely abdominal or visceral obesity. In the last study, it is also suggested that comprehensive stress management intervention targeting both males and females could be useful for the prevention and management of obesity. In conclusion, there are more studies and recommendations that supports the lifestyle factors that have a bigger impact on prevention and management of obesity. An individual could not change their genes, but they can change their environments to have better lifestyle habits, which can improve one's health. However, genetic factors did play a role in the development of obesity. Overall, obesity is a multifactorial condition and will be difficult to assess based on only one of the factors. These are my references. That's the end of this presentation. Thank you for your attention.